Hey friends, it's Vanessa Short, your Saint Artist. I was going to put all of my mascara on first, but I put one eye on and I was like, oh my gosh, what a difference, right? My lashes are so light naturally. So I guess I thought I just wanted you to see the difference. I like to get it kind of in the root and I wiggle it back and forth a little bit, and I always go on the top part of my lashes too. That underside, I guess. No, that's the top side. This is the underside that most people always put mascara on, but I always put it on the top too because my lashes are so light that if I don't, when I look down, it looks like there's powder on my lashes. It's kind of weird. Hey, thanks for joining. If you guys have any questions while you're here, let me know. I mean, I never really plan these. I just kind of hop on random, but I think I should start planning one evening or one day just to always do like a makeover, and then you guys would know. Would that be good? I think that might be a good thing. Oh, okay. So I do put my mascara on first a lot because then if I make a mistake like I just did, I can clean it up easier. So it's just something I do. Hello. All right, going out to dinner, gonna do some makeup. Oh, I lost my compact. Here it is. I'm gonna work out of my one compact as I usually do. Got all my eyeshadows and powders, got some blushes. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do like a medium coverage. So I want to show you how I do that. I'm going to use the small side of my blush and bronzer, and I'm kind of in between these two colors right now, so I'm just kind of dabbing into both of them. And I'm going to actually apply my main highlight, which is your foundation color, all over. So just like you would your normal foundation. I know a lot of times you see us putting it in these dots or lines. We call it paint by number or the cheetah hack or, you know, whatever with those dots, and it can be a little intimidating. It really does blend super easy. So the dot method works great if you're kind of learning the map of your face, like where things go. But honestly, if you want a little bit more coverage, or if you just want to apply it the way you would your normal foundation, nobody said you can't. Just take your main highlight color, which is that foundation that's going to match your skin the closest, and put it everywhere. I even like to put a little bit on my eyelids. See, even me all out, and now I can go in and do the rest of the stuff. So I'm going to grab my detail brush. I love this brush for contour too. I like the flat side of it. So I'm going to dip into my contour. Contour is going to be a little bit stiffer consistency because we don't want that to move around. So it's not as easily blended. So sometimes I'm like, don't get too carried away with how dark it is, because you might just have to take a minute, or how much you put on, because you might have to take a minute to blend it a little bit more. So I kind of like to blend my contour as I go. So I always go all around my forehead. I'm making my 5 head of forehead, I always say. So, and I always make sure I get in here. Most people have a weaker spot right here. It's just natural hairline. And then I like to stamp it right here, and I really don't go in much further than the outer corner of my eye. If you want to scoop a little bit, it'll give you a little bit more of that fuller cheek. So you can do that. But can you see where I have this natural shadow right there? I never want to put my contour there because it always just makes it look dirty. It's already shadowed. I don't need to add any more. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to kind of flick it up. And I'm not going to worry about if I don't have it blended perfectly, because I'm going to throw some bronzer and blush on here too. But I do make sure that I always go up. I never pull this down. I really want to stay above my natural dip. And that is nice and uplifting. Oh, that's cool, Dakota, that you never contoured before Saint. Guess what? Neither did I. I think I worked for a makeup company, and we had this cool pencil stick that had a highlighter and a contour, one on either end, and it was a creamy stick, but it was super intimidating. I remember trying it once, and I just was scared of it. So I never did it again. And that was, oh my gosh, that was easily 25 years ago. So contouring is not a new thing. I think that it just used to be reserved for like makeup artists and, you know, stars and all that. But now, I mean, look at how easy that was to contour my nose. And I love the brush for this because it gives you that nice flat edge and it makes it easy to draw a straight line. And then if you get like a little too much, you just kind of wipe it off. It's no big deal. And then I like to go along my jawline. So I'm not going above it. I'm staying right here because I want to go where this natural shadow would be and just make it look like I'm a little bit more chiseled. Isn't that cool? And then I always do it right here too, or I put bronzer here. I think that a lot of times people see this makeup and they're really intimidated by it, but honestly, because it's a cream, it's super forgiving. It blends really easily. And I always say there's two things about it. A little bit goes a long way and you can't screw up. If you get too much on, you can dab it off. It's unlike other foundations where once it kind of dries and sets, you're not going to be able to move it or add more on top of it very easily without it getting cakey. All right, I'm grabbing my brightening highlight and I'm just going to lightly draw a really thin line down the middle. The thinner this line is, so the closer your dark lines are together without touching, the skinnier it will make your nose. I also like to put a little bit on that inner corner right there. I will usually bring it down like to the side of my nose like that. That'll create a little bit of fullness there. And then a little bit right here on the outer corner. But before I blend all this, I think I'm going to do my eyeshadow real quick. I'm going to take a mid color and I'm just going to put a little bit under here because I really like to make my cheekbone pop. I'll blend that in a minute too. And then I'm going to put a little bit of that right here where I feel kind of shadowed. So if you have any like dips or shadows, a good place for me too is like right there. See where I have that little bit of a gel? If I can just put a little bit right there, I can actually make it look like it's coming more forward. And light brings things forward, dark helps things recede. So think of that. Dark is in the shadows, it creates more of a shadow. The contour is the shadow. All right, before I get going crazy on that, let's hop over to my eyeshadow tray level. And I love that everything's in here. It's super easy to use. I'm going to actually take some of my vanilla dust, which is our setting powder, and I'm just going to lightly dust that all over my lid first. It's a good way to just kind of even things out and have a smoother surface to apply the rest of my eyeshadow on. I'm going to do simple. I don't get too crazy, but I'm going to use the fluffy side again, and your brush does matter. So the fluffier it is, the easier it's going to be able to blend. And also the further back you hold your brush, you're going to have a softer hand. It's going to actually be a lot easier to go back and forth and blend that. Rather than if you're choked up here, it's kind of stiff and you don't have that soft hand to be able to just kind of wiggle it back and forth. So I'm actually doing this like above my crease. I like to kind of keep my eye open and look at that. So if I did it just in my crease, let me show you on this side. Like if I was just literally putting it right exactly where my crease is, which I feel like is how I was taught. But if you have any sort of eyelid, as soon as you open your eye, it just disappears, right? I mean, look, there's definitely eyeshadow there, but it's gone. So I find it a lot easier to keep my eye open and actually put that above my crease. And I go back and forth in a little windshield wiper, and I don't get near I like to leave a space of light color to my eyebrow, so I don't put that dark color all the way up. Now let me add a little bit more in the crease over here since I did it over there. Want it to match. I also like to take the darker color and run it across the bottom. I don't wear a lot of eyeliner anymore. I really use my eyeshadows as eyeliner because really what you're doing when you're putting eyeshadow on is you're contouring your eyes. It's the same concept. But isn't that pretty just to use as eyeliner? All right, I'm flipping my brush over. I'm going to use the little side and I'm going to dab into this color. I think it's Sabrina. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the inner corner. And again, I'm using the smaller side because I really want to kind of concentrate it just right there. And you can even put a little bit under your brow. If you're really puffy here, like I feel like I'm a little bit puffy there, I wouldn't go too shimmery because it's just going to make it look puffier because it's light and it brings it forward, right? So I think I'm pretty even. The one last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to dip into, what color do I want today? I'm going to wear like a gray and black sweater. So I'll use this one. It is called, let me make sure I tell you the right name. It is called GG. And look at how cool this is too. Everything is magnetized. So things don't just fall out of here. If you have an empty space, it's okay. It's not going to fall out. I'm just going to tap that right on the center of my eyelid with my finger, and I always use my ring finger around my eyes because it has the lightest touch, but you know, use whatever you want. Just know that this finger does have a lighter touch, so if you're trying to be gentle. All right, so there's my eyeshadow. Now I'm gonna come back in and blend out my brightening shade that I had. So I can use the same little brush, or I can just grab my foundation brush that I used and I can blend with that. This is also kind of cool to do the eyeshadow before you finish your foundation because you can really crisp up that line right there on the corner. Now I need that little one because I can't fit in there. And then on your nose contour, I noticed that it blends a lot easier, so either do it lightly with the brush or sometimes just tap it with your finger like that. And I think I want to try to make my nose look a little bit narrower. So let me see if I can just work that on. Let me get a little bit more contour on here. My nose is a little bit bulbous on the end, so I like to almost go in like a V shape right here. There. You can also put this under your lip. Creates a little bit more fullness. But speaking of fullness, I have been trying out the City Lips Lip Plumping Gloss. And I don't have anything on my lips right now. So this will be a good test for you to see if it works. I like how thick it is, but it's not super sticky. It feels smooth when I rub my lips back and forth. It has hyaluronic acid in it. I should get the box so I can read all the ingredients. It doesn't have a ton of ingredients. It is cruelty free. Plumping lip gloss. It has a little bit of a mentholy, minty kind of scent. It's pretty subtle though. I like the way it feels on my lips. It has a little tingle, but it's not like a burning sensation. I've tried some before that are burning. So I do have a 15% off link if you want to try this. So yeah, the company gave me a link, so that was kind of cool. But I do like it. You can put it on top of or underneath other colors if you like, you know, a lip color. My lips are pretty red to begin with, and I do think it adds a little bit of color because it's lip plumping, it's stimulating, so I think it probably makes my lips even darker than they normally are, a little bit brighter. Okay, I'm gonna put some blush on. I don't know what color I'm using. I feel like I have weird colors. These aren't colors that I wear all the time, but I threw a whole bunch of random ones in here, so I think I'll just mix a couple together. I'm gonna mix this one. Let's see what this looks like by itself. Maybe I'll just leave it like that. Yeah, that's pretty subtle. Well, I like it. I think it looks pretty. Maybe I'll just add a touch of this pink, which kind of scares me a little bit, but we'll just put it way up here high. Oh, I do like that better. Okay. That feels good. I like it. Okay. Bronzer, and then I'm going to do my little spot cover. I save spot cover until the end. I honestly don't see the point in covering blemishes when you first start because I'm putting this other stuff on and I'm using a brush and I'm going to, you know, maybe smudge it off. So bronzer. I might need more blush when I'm done, but let's cover these. So I'm going to grab my multitasker brush. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to actually use the small side to fill in my eyebrows in a second, or the big side, but I'm going to use the small side to cover these few blemishes that I have in this area. So I'm going to use my main foundation color, which is my darker foundation color, and I was mixing these two, so I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to dot it right on the spot, not around it, not a giant, you know, everywhere, just literally right on that spot. And then I think I'm going to come in and show you some demi color. Let me dab this out first. Make sure my finger is clean. And I'm just going to tap, tap until it melts in. And I have a little red spot on my nose too. So let me show you demi. I'm going to actually grab a demi brush to do this. And where's my little demi colors? Here they are. All right. Oh, wrong one. Okay, these are demi colors. This is the color I used in my eyebrows. And this is kind of a bronzing sculpt I used earlier today when I was trying something out. But I am going to use a couple of these colors here to show you how I can really cover that dark shadow that I have there. I know mine aren't too bad, but I'm going to use this one. It is called 03, which means orange 3. And I'm putting this where I feel the most blue. And a lot of times I'll look down. And if you notice, I just barely tapped any on there. Let me zoom in so you can really see. And I actually have too much on there. So I'm going to blend it out. Oh, I hate when the light does that, with the fluffy side. Or you can tap it with your finger if you want. But I'm just tapping it where I feel that bluish shadow is. And I even have like a little, this is a little scar that I've had since I was 16. Haha! And I feel like I have a little vein showing right there. So while I'm here, I might as well show you how I can kind of cover that too. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of, what is this one called? Oh, I'm going to use this pinker one here. Let me see what it's called. R01, Red Orange Level 1. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it right here. So I always feel like I'm a little bit greenish right there, but watch how much this brightens up, and you can even use it like right here. It's super bright, but kind of fun stuff. All right, let's go in and do the other side. Oh, wrong one. I want this one. I'm actually putting more on than I need just so you can see it, but then blend it out. The trick with this and with putting makeup on around your eyes and not emphasizing fine lines, because I definitely have some, is the littlest amount. The less makeup that you can use around your eye, the better, because it's one of the places that's going to move the most. Just when you talk, expressions and everything. So if you can just use the littlest amount, then it's not going to be able to move around and catch into fine lines and wrinkles and stuff. So see, I like to look down and go, okay, I see just a little bit more right there. Okay, so that's how you use demi color. I'm even going to put a little bit under my nose and on that spot that I said it. See that little dot right there? All right, I think the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add some more cheek color. And since I have this out, I'm going to use this demi color right here. It's super pink, super fun for cheeks. It's OR5, which is Orange Red Level 5. So that means it's a darker version. And I will just take a light fluffy brush. Let me just find like a little fluffy brush here. Isn't that weird when I get close how it changes the lighting? And I'm just going to put a little bit of that. demi colors are even more concentrated than our 3D foundation. So a tiny, tiny bit goes a long way. And they are color neutralizers. So I like using the red orange because it's counteracting any kind of freckling or bluish, greenish melasma that I have under there, but it's giving me a nice glow, but it definitely doesn't look like that, right? Because it's a corrector. And now, check out my lips. They do look fuller, huh? Even if they didn't look fuller, it feels so good. They're so hydrated. So, all right, let me zoom out a little bit. Make sure I got enough stuff on. The lighting is so strange when you zoom in and out. All right, what's the difference between demi and the regular? Dakota, good answer. I mean, good question. I'll give you a good answer. Demi is no makeup. So I just did a hybrid version, but truly, if you just wanted to cover a few spots on your face and you didn't want to put foundation everywhere, the demi is for that. It's very natural. It doesn't look like you have any makeup on because you literally only pinpoint things. Whereas our 3D cream foundation is more of a light to full coverage, and it's something that usually goes everywhere. So this is more like traditional foundation. This is so unlike any other product I've ever seen or used. It is based on color science, which is just really cool. Like for instance, I'm going to use this color right here. There are darker colors in the demi liner called Sculpt. And this is you can use it as a contour, as if it was contour, but this is NG1, which is neutral green. And I know green sounds scary, but because I have silver in my hair and I'm a very cool brown, let me zoom in because I felt like the light was better when I could show you that. But because I have some gray in my hair, this counteracts any redness that I have under my eyebrows where I had them microbladed. Basically, that's tattooed, you guys, but it matches my hair better. So I love the demi shades. I use it mostly in a hybrid version. So I like to look like I have more coverage, so that's why I use the 3D foundation. If you really just want your skin to show through, but you just want to cover some distractions like blemishes, melasma, freckling, things like that, dark circles, then demi may be for you if you just want to use it by itself. But like I said, I like using it as a hybrid, and it works phenomenal for around the eyes. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to go fix my hair. And if you have any questions, let me see if I can, it's so weird. I always try to add a link and I forget to do it in time, but let me see if I can. It probably won't let me. I'm not even going to bother. My link is in the bio. You can find me there or just message me. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I hope that you guys have a beautiful night. Thank you, Dakota. Thanks for watching. And that's it. Bye.